Shalom Israel, Shalom. Barak YaHaWah, Barak YaHaWaShi. Barak YaHaWah, Barak YaHaWaShi. Barak YaHaWah, Barak YaHaWaShi. BaHaSham, Rawcha, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. And to the Akwith listening and learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp here on another lesson. And through the spirit and power of YaHaWah, the title of this lesson is Babylonians denouncing their citizenship, man. You know what I mean? Right? And this is a article that came out yesterday on CNBC Salakia. It came out today on CNBC News. And yeah, let's watch it. Most I willing, we'll attach some scripture.
A record number of Americans are renouncing their citizenship. And it's mostly because of money. Robert Frank joins us now with more. Robert, I like to be, I like to be agnostic, objective, and not care about things. But just reading this, I don't know. It's just something so dear to that some people work so hard for, and would, just would really. It's very precious and very, 10 years. Some people to finally, and it's a great day in their life. What is about money? It just. I don't know. I just didn't like reading that headline, but maybe it's not as bad as I think.
Well, it's about a lot of things, Joe. Let's just talk about the numbers first. The number of Americans who have renounced their citizenship has more than tripled since last year to more than 6,000. That is a record. Now, because U.S. embassies have actually frozen new applications since March, attorneys say the real number of people who intend to renounce could be 5 to 10 times higher. And we've also seen a big surge in wealthy Americans buying second or third passports in Europe or Asia through the Golden Visa programs. Now, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, he recently became a citizen of Cyprus, which allows him to travel freely in Europe. He, of course, is still an American citizenship, but also has that as an add-on. Now, all this exodus is driven mainly by a tax law that forced any American citizen to report overseas tax accounts and file taxes. But the pandemic has also increased demand for passport portfolios. That makes international travel a lot easier with all these lockdowns. And advisors say clients are citing the likelihood of higher taxes, more debt, and political dysfunction in Washington as a reason to move to many of the places like the Virgin Islands, Montenegro, and Singapore. Those are the popular destinations. Now, all this can be very expensive. Americans worth $2 million or more have to pay capital gains taxes on all of their assets as an exit tax for them to leave. And Joe, as you say, it's not only sort of something near and dear to Americans to have that passport, but it's also very costly to do it. So it shows you how motivated these 6,000 people were to renounce.
Shepard Smith.
So, as you can see, the main reasons stated here is the tax laws, right? Pandemic travel restrictions, right? And prospect of higher taxes and debt after election, right? So, yeah, let's get a scripture, man. Babylonians, right? Leaving America the Great, Babylon the Great, right? Jeremiah 50, verse 16. And it reads, cut off the sower from Babylon. Cut off the sower. The sower. Let's look into this Hebrew word, sower. Right? Cut off the sower from Babylon. America the Great. Babylon the Great. Spiritual Egypt. Spiritual Sodom. Right? Spiritual Egypt. Spiritual Sodom. America the Great. The spirit of Egypt. The spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. The vibration of Egypt. The vibration of ancient Egypt. The vibration of Sodom and Gomorrah is heavy in America the Great. Babylon the Great. The vibration of Babylon, right, is heavy in America the Great. Babylon the Great. The sower, right? Cut off the sower.
Strong's H2232. Zarah.
Cut off the sower from Babylon the Great. To sow, scatter seed. To sow, producing, yielding seed. Right. In today's times, agriculture, manufacturing, the food chain, IT, tech, right? Cut off the sower from Babylon, right? Cut off manufacturing, agriculture, anything to do with production, GDP, gross domestic product, right? Right? The economy, right? Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle, the worker, right? And him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest, right? The worker, listen, America the Great's in straits, right? No jobs. Him that handleth the sickle, that's the worker, no jobs, right? No jobs out here, right? For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people. So people are leaving for fear of the oppressing sword. The oppressing sword being these pandemic restrictions outlined in this article. Fear of higher taxes, being forced to report offshore bank accounts, right? The oppressing sword being America the Great, their government, the elites, the banking families. So people are leaving because of the draconian measures that America the Great is about to bring in, man. Draconian measures. Woe to them that unrighteous decrees. We'll get that. Isaiah 10 verse 1. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people. Everyone's leaving America the Great, Babylon the Great, based on this report. 6,000. They said it could be underestimated, but based on this report, 6,000 people are denouncing their citizenship. And they shall flee everyone to his own land. Yeah, they're leaving. Some of them are going to their, some of them are first generation Americans, Babylonians, born here, but they have roots in Europe, right? Other overseas countries, right? So to flee everyone to his own land, basically where their parents or grandparents, or where their parents or grandparents or relatives, you know, maybe a generation or two come from, right? But that's the state, man. That's what's going on right here in Babylon the Great, man. And they're running because of the measures that are potential, that are in the pipeline, that are coming. Isaiah 10 verse 1. We'll close out with this, right? Woe, destruction unto them that make law, make mandatory, right? Unrighteous decrees, unrighteous laws, right? And that right grievances, right? That right them pass them through Senate, through vote, through their cabinet, Democrats, Republicans, right? And that right grievances which they have prescribed, right? Right? They're draconian laws that are coming, man. Right? A matter of fact, let's close out with Revelation. Spoke as a dragon. Revelation 13. I believe it's 11. Yeah. Revelation 13 verse 11, and it reads, And I beheld, and this is John the Revelator having a vision, right? And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Another beast, Babylon the Great, America the Great, right? And he had two horns like a lamb. He had two horns like a lamb. That's they're bipartisan parties, right? They're two-party system in their government. Democrats, Republicans, right? Two horns like a lamb, right? Like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon, his laws, draconian measures, right? So people are leaving and fleeing in fear of what's coming, right? I just wanted to touch on that. You know what I mean? Babylonians denouncing their citizenship. I pray edified. I don't want Ratazah. Kwame Asharala. Wa abad babal. Shalom.